Hello friends, my name is Vas Solo. Welcome to my channel, Why Spirit Matters. This video is about what I've learned from going through the process of quitting caffeine, which applies to any change that we're trying to make in our life. So if that's something that you're looking to do, make sure to watch the rest of this video. So I just finished week 4, and it feels like the worst part of this is finally over because I've only had a few minor cravings this week and my energies feels like it's starting to climb back up. Finally. Thank God. Now, the reason I wanted to document this process is because it's taking me 2 years to get to this point. Yes, you heard me right. 2 years to finally quit caffeine. So I wanted to talk about it because I've learned so many things along the way which I think will be helpful for anyone that's trying to make a significant change in their life. So the first thing that I learned from this whole process, which sounds kind of cliche and a little bit cheesy, but it's to never give up. Now, I know that sounds pretty obvious. Don't give up, obviously, right? If you want to go from point A to point B, you're never going to get there if you stop halfway through. But I think a lot of people undertake something new because they get excited about it, but they don't expect how much work it's actually going to take. There's going to be a lot of successes and failures along the way, and that's something that I experienced as I was trying to quit caffeine for the last 2 years. It was a process of going off of it, then coming back on, going off and coming back on. If I had given up a year ago, I would have never been at this point where I finally reached the point of readiness that helped me get over that hump. So it's very important to keep in mind to never give up. Keep in mind that you want to go from point A to point B and that you're not going to stop until you get there. Now, the second important thing that I learned when it comes to overcoming a habit or making a significant change is the importance of identifying our reason for doing it. Why is it that you want to go from point A to point B? And this becomes the motivating factor that pushes us towards our goal and helps us overcome some of the difficult parts. There's a really great exercise I learned from Jordan Peterson when I did his self-authoring program. And in the exercise, what you do is you sit down and you write a nightmare scenario, which includes talking about what your life is going to look like in 5 years if you stay where you are. So you write that out in full detail, and that's going to help to propel you towards point B. Now, the second thing you do is you write a dream scenario. So what's your life going to look like in 5 years if you actually attain your goal and you get to point B? And that becomes sort of the dream scenario which pulls you towards itself. And so once we have those two scenarios and we've identified our why, we're going to be strongly motivated, and that's going to give us the best possible chance of getting through some of the difficult parts of our journey. Now, the next thing that I learned is the importance of preparation or planning. I'm sure you guys have all heard this saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And to do some planning for something as simple as quitting caffeine, you'd think, well, what kind of planning could I do for that? Well, for me, first of all, that included finding my why or my motivation, and it also included figuring out how I was going to maintain enough energy throughout the day that I wouldn't be compelled to go to Starbucks and get an espresso. So that included me exercising regularly, making sure that I got enough sleep, making sure that I ate healthy, making sure that I meditated, doing all those kinds of things daily to ensure my success. So whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, make sure that you do some thorough planning in order to get where you want to go. And finally, the last thing that I want to talk about, which I learned by going through all of this, is the value of avoiding the path of least resistance. Now, what I mean by that is there's something inherent about human beings that drives us towards something better. It's sort of our fundamental need is to evolve and to improve ourselves. We all know that within ourselves we have a whole ton of potential. And to unlock that potential, we need to face challenges and we need to overcome obstacles. And that pulls out the best in us. Now, our other option is to stay stagnant and not to challenge ourselves. But whether we like it or not, life is going to throw challenges to us. It's impossible to avoid doing anything difficult. And the least prepared you are for those challenges, the more difficult life is going to seem. But if you're used to constantly, daily putting yourself through that grinder, and I don't mean this has to be a challenge that you can't handle. No, like starting with challenges that you think you're capable of handling and going on to bigger and bigger things. If we're doing that daily, we're gonna draw on that potential and we're gonna actually feel alive. So that's something I learned. I mean, the last 3 weeks have been very difficult, but now that I'm coming into the 4th week, I'm starting to feel so much better. I feel like my mental clarity has returned. I feel like my energy is returning. And so I can't wait to challenge myself to do other things. But best of all is I no longer feel like I'm stuck in that one place. And that's just one of the best feelings ever. So I really encourage you guys to challenge yourself, to use what I've talked about in this video to help you overcome your challenges, to help you make a significant change in your life. And just know that if you push yourself and if you believe in yourself, you can accomplish anything. So that's it for this video. I hope that has been helpful to those of you who are maybe struggling with an addiction or are trying to overcome some sort of challenge in your life. Just remember that if you don't give up, there is something better waiting for you on the other side. So keep pushing until you get there. Anyways, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.